Welcome to Review Every Ship by CitizenCon 2024. The point is to give an update on every ship since some haven't had a video made about them in years. And others, the information is simply too spread out to be helpful in making decisions. Remember, digital ships aren't imaginary, digital ships are imagine necessary. Every month, we do a giveaway to give back to this wonderful community. This month's giveaway prize is going to be either an Anvil Terrapin, or if we hit 6,500 human subscribers before CitizenCon, I will give away an Anvil Carrack. So make sure you share the channel and tell your org mates to come and check us out. To enter the contest, make sure you're subscribed to Billionaire Ninjas, leave a comment on at least one video, and like or dislike at least one video. Winners have 2 weeks to claim their prize. Members collectively have a 25% chance of winning just for being members. So if you're subscribed, consider hitting that join button, and if you're not, I appreciate you hitting that subscribe button. For the full giveaway details, make sure you visit our Billionaire Ninjas Discord or our social media at Ninjas Leap. Today, we are going back to finish up ships we missed to end our very long journey of reviewing all the ships. We only have 3 left, and here is the first of the 3. The next ships are the AEGIS Saber, Peregrine, and Firebird. We already did the other variants, so go check that one out. This is technically a part 2. For the pledge price, we have the Peregrine, $185 standalone, $170 war bond, was $170 at concept, cost in game is unknown. The Firebird, $185 standalone, $170 war bond, was $170 at concept, cost in game is unknown. All the Peregrine and Firebird, are both time limited for real world purchase. These ships are not available to rent in game and are not available to purchase in game as of 3.2, 3.1, but I wouldn't be surprised if they show up in the next patch. The fastest Saber model yet conceived, the Peregrine takes the infamous military-born chassis and tunes it for pure, unadulterated speed. A high-speed fighter specializing in rapid barrages from its bespoke missile array, built to destroy threats before they can react, it's equally at home heading out on long-range missions or scrambling to protect your base of operations. The Peregrine and the Firebird.
And you're late.
What?
You're late.
And it was traffic.
Yeah, it's traffic.
Wasn't it traffic?
You give me
It was
traffic.
traffic.
For measurements, the Saber Peregrine has a length of 26 meters, beam of 24 meters, height of 5 meters. The Saber Firebird has a length of 26 meters, beam of 30 meters, and a height of 5 meters. They are both size 2 small ships. For crew, the Peregrine and Firebird all have the same minimum crew, which is 1 and maximum crew of 1. For cargo, they both carry 0 SCU. For claim time, all these ships have 7.5 minutes, expedited claim time is about 3 minutes, and the fee for expediting the claim time is about 4,000 credits. For top SCM speed, the Peregrine is 267,000 and it is the 4th fastest ship in the game. The Firebird is 240 and it is the 10th fastest ship in the game. For nav max speed, the Peregrine is 1448 and it is the 4th fastest ship in the game. The Firebird is 1400 and it is the 10th fastest ship in the game. For maneuverability, the Peregrine is way above average and it is the 10th most maneuverable ship in the entire game. The Firebird is way above average and it is the 19th most maneuverable ship in the game. For weapons, the Peregrine has no weapons, turrets, or missiles. The Firebird comes stock with 2 size 3 ballistic Gatlings and 24 size 3 electromagnetic missiles. For hull HP, the Peregrine has 13,500, the Firebird has 15,500. For shields, the Peregrine and Firebird both come stock with 2 Shimmer, Stealth, Grade C, bubble type shields with 3,000 total HP and recovering 200 HP per second. For ship parts, the Peregrine and Firebird all have the same size parts. They have 1 small radar, 1 small computer, 2 small power plants, 2 small coolers, 2 small shield generators, 2 small fuel intakes, 2 small fuel tanks, a small quantum drive, a small jump module, and 1 small quantum fuel tank. The Firebird does drop one of those small power plants though. Hydrogen capacity for both of these ships is average. The quantum ability for all of these ships is planetary, meaning you will be able to travel to another planet in the solar system and maybe the next solar system one way, but for the latter, you may need to refuel once along the way. Some special features and amenities for these ships. Well, these are single-seat, one-person cockpit ships, so not many amenities, but the Peregrine does have an engine performance booster as a feature, and the Firebird has the ability to shoot 6 missiles at the same time. Both ships also have 1,300 micro SCU of stowage. My preferred loadout, my loadout for the Saber Peregrine, is all competition grade A or grade B parts, whichever the highest you can find, and the same thing for the Saber Firebird except with stealth parts, whichever ones you can find, and change out those missiles for Chaos Infrared missiles. A quick shout out to my members, my First Ninjas, Star Touch and Rob, my Hokage, Old Weeb, my Jonin Ninjas, Radium TX, Paling Tan, The Solid Exodus, Damon Danielson, Dark Wolf God, ETL and Spades, Sean Phillips, and Rage 1. Then, my Chunin Ninjas, Raygun 972, Walk on Your Side, Scorpio King 3, Soul Galaxia, Meat Salad, Praetorian, J Solis, Waterfox Studios, San Chimera, Rotten Treats, BMC, and Bears Junkie 23 Hall of Fame. Of course, thanks to all my other members from every level who are all listed at the end of the video. As always, membership is never required but always appreciated. You help make this YouTube dream even more possible, so thank all of you. A special thanks also to my gifted subscribers. Now it's time to rate these ships. A rating I rate from 1 to 10. My 1 is only buy if you have a unique reason that is specific to you or because you like the looks of the ship. My 10 is if you have the money, these ships are almost guaranteed to be useful to you in the game. A 1 doesn't mean the ships are useless or ugly, and a 10 doesn't mean that the ships are perfect. Just remember, these are just our ratings. Please give us yours in the comments down below. And if you're one of those people who hate watches my videos, hey, how you doing? How you doing? You good? Okay, I'm glad you're good. For everyone else, we only have 2 more ships left. Well, 1.5 we'll call it, but you'll see why I say that. My rating for this ship is of course going to be handed out based on which variant we're looking at. The Peregrine is a 5. The Firebird is an 8. Let's start with what I like about these ships. Well, for both of these, their speed and maneuverability make them very nice to fly and very fun to fly, both in space and atmosphere. The Peregrine is a very unique ship. It has 3 things you rarely ever see in the same ship. It has a top tier speed, a top tier maneuverability, and has great hull HP for its size. I don't quite know why CIG made it so tough, but they did, and I have to give credit where credit is due. Not many other ships boast stats this high in all 3 categories. The Firebird has a lot of things to love. Great speed, great stealth, a ton of missiles, and some decent sized guns along with enough firepower to fight after its missiles are gone. Now, I know missile gameplay isn't the best place right now, but once it is, this ship will be a force to be reckoned with because it's basically spamming 6 missiles at a time, which you can one-shot a lot of ships in the verse with. Well, technically it's 6 shots in 1 volley, but you get the point. If I like them then so much, why aren't they 10s? Well, let's get to the issues with these ships and how I would fix them. The Peregrine's fatal flaw is it doesn't have a second use case. It's only built for racing. It loses the stealth capabilities, and that is the weirdest one to understand, by the way. But also, it doesn't have a better radar or better computers or better fuel tanks, better fuel efficiency, or anything like that. Then on top of it all, it doesn't have any weapons. On one hand, I respect CIG wanting to have a purpose-built racer with no other calling except speed. I just think that should have been reserved for a smaller ship like a snub. Larger ships like this, I believe, need at least 1 secondary purpose, even if it's a small one. And if you're one of those people who will inevitably tell me that racers don't need weapons, well, we can agree on that. But if they don't have weapons, then they should at least have 1 other purpose at this size, is my point. But let's talk about those racers that you claim don't need any weapons. And let's talk about why this ship most certainly could have size 1 weapons and keep all its same stats. In that sense of not having weapons, look at all the fastest ships in the game. Every single one of the ships that is faster than the Peregrine has weapons. And that is 3 ships with multiple variants that are also faster and have weapons. What about the most maneuverable ships in the entire game? Because surely racing isn't all about speed, right? The Mustang Omega, weapons. The Gamma, weapons. The Cartual, the Arrow, those aren't even racing ships, but they have more maneuverability and they have weapons. Then there's the Talon, the Gladius, the 125A, the Fury, the 85X, the Hawk, you know, just to name a few. But I'll say this again, I'm okay with it not having weapons. But at this size, I just don't like how people sometimes act like other people are weird for asking why it doesn't have weapons. Like a racing ship having weapons is a weird thing. It's not. Ships not having weapons is the weird thing. But I did hear CIG when they said they didn't really want to do the metrics with having to add weapons to this ship. And I respect that. but that doesn't mean it gets extra points because it's purpose built. If we're all okay with it not having weapons, then explain to me why it can't have literally any other secondary purpose. And I'm not just picking on racers here. I don't think any ship should only have one purpose, unless that particular purpose requires it to only have one purpose. And I can't even think of a ship right now that requires it to only have one purpose. I'm not asking for a lot here. I'm not asking for it to become a combat capital. I'm asking for the ability to ping further with a better radar, stealth so I can get closer without being detected, computers for hacking or data running, scanners for surveying, or even just better quantum fuel efficiency so I can use it as a sightseeing ship and jump around the verse with it. It doesn't have any of that. Here's the thing, you don't have to argue about that being the point. I know somebody in the comments is gonna say, well, that's the point. It doesn't have any of that because it's built for racing. I'm okay with it being a purpose-built, purely for speed ship. But that also means it gets a 5 in my book, and that's the highest it will ever get. But a 5 isn't bad, it just isn't good either. It's just kinda is. Now hopping to the Firebird, it doesn't have a ton of flaws. It actually is a great ship, but the major flaw it does have is its toughness and its range. It's fairly simple if you don't kill the target with all the missiles. You better hope you damaged it, at least, because all you have are some size 3 Gatlings to defend yourself. Those can work well if you know how to do it, if you know how to use it, and if you fly well. But when they run out of ammo, you'll have to run out of the fight. The range issue is more of a tracking issue. If I'm in this ship, I'm most likely going to be doing fleet defense with a hangar that I can refuel and rearm in. In that case, my range isn't really relevant. But if I'm doing bounties, I start to worry that I might get outran, not because of speed, but because I don't have enough range on the quantum drive. It shouldn't get a larger quantum drive, but just better fuel efficiency on the one it does have. Also, I wish it had 2 separate launchers so you could stock 2 different kinds of missiles at the same time. Or maybe they should just let you load whatever missiles you want in any order you want, and then you can just select which missiles fire. That way you would be able to pick your targets much better without having to go all the way back to base to fix your loadout. That brings me to why these ships have the scores they have. For all the things I have to say about the Peregrine, it's a darn good racing ship. Great maneuverability, great speed, and tough enough to survive shots being taken at it during a race. The Firebird, however, is quite literally one step away from a stealth masterpiece. Think about how crazy it is to have a ship locked on with missiles from 2,000 meters away, and they can't even see you unless they send out a ping, and even then, it's difficult. Now imagine you let loose 6 missiles and fly in just close enough to get the size 3 weapons in range. And just as those missiles are about to hit, you start blasting. And while they're trying to avoid the missiles, they get hit with the guns. While they're trying to avoid the guns, they get hit with the missiles. And by the time they recover, you have another 6 missiles ready. I mean, that gameplay, when done right, will be incredible. However, I do worry about the griefers taking advantage of that feature. But hey, that's another thing in the game, right? Oh, and did I tell you what my new Star Citizen curse word is? Well, in Star Wars, they say nerf herder. Here we call people pad rammers. But I digress. Who are these ships for? Well, the Peregrine is specifically for racers, flight enthusiasts, and local sightseers. The Firebird is for people who appreciate stealth and missile gameplay. If I'm being honest, it's fast enough and maneuverable enough to race as well. It's not that far behind the Peregrine. I think this one is on its way to being a fan favorite, as soon as CIG allows missiles to actually hit something consistently. I know you're here for our rating, but if you really want a ship, go buy it. We won't stop you. Or even better, all ships can be earned in-game once the game is released, and some you can purchase in-game right now. These are just our ratings, but when you spend, it's your money. My opinion, I think if you're a racer, the Peregrine is a no-brainer. But beware, the stats have changed on that 3 times since it has released. The Firebird is for people like me, a ninja assassin. Sure, we can win a fair fight in our Hornet if we need to, but we slink through, undetected, sneak in real close, and boom, a blow dart missile to the neck, and you're waking up dead, and us, gone like a thief in the night. This one is for the fleet, folks. Well, at least for us ninjas it is. All right, that is it for this one. Shout out to the members. Thanks for spending your time with us. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.